Thanks for joining us today. We're at the Negro Southern League Baseball Museum on the south side in Birmingham, Alabama. So come along with me. I'm Seymour West with Keller Williams Real Estate in Vestavia. From 1920 to 1951, the Negro Southern Baseball League served as a feeder route, if you will, for ball players to come up through the industrial leagues of Birmingham and Chattanooga and various places into the major leagues. In fact, there are at least 6 major leagues, and I'm talking about the Hall of Fame, Cooperstown, New York type major leaguer, that are here and featured in this museum. We have with us Frank Adams. Frank, thanks for taking time to talk to us. Frank is the Director of Operations. Can you give us an overview of what the museum is really all about?
Well, if you're a baseball fan, this museum is the place for you. What we do is we celebrate baseball, specifically Negro League players in Birmingham's own industrial league, and how those two elements help to push our national pastime forward. Specifically, we've had so many greats who've played baseball here in Birmingham: Satchel Paige, Willie Mays. And Willie was, Mr. Mays was a wonderful addition to that team, was a great player. He couldn't travel on the road because he was 16. So he had to play home games. Yeah. And so some of the players that came through Birmingham were just legendary figures. Satchel Paige, Jackie Robinson coming here and playing at Rickwood Field, which is a wonderful partner of ours. And those players really challenging the issues that we had here in Birmingham from a racial perspective, but also pushing the game forward. People don't realize when Satchel Paige played, yes, he was a great pitcher and everyone wanted to see him pitch, but he was also very engaging to the community. He would come and talk to the players. He would come and talk to the fans. He would ask fans, what pitch should I throw? And he was very, very entertaining. He was more of a carnival barker than just a baseball player.
In case you're wondering how Satchel Paige got his nickname, when Leroy Satchel Paige was a young boy, he made money in Mobile, Alabama by going to the train station and carrying passengers' bags or satchels to and from the train for 10 cents a bag. The name stuck and he became a legend.
And that's the wonderful thing about baseball during this era. Both black and white baseball, you had some really colorful characters, and specifically here in Birmingham, you had some of the best players in the history of the game. Hank Aaron, Jackie Robinson, and others, who played for the Birmingham Barons, or they may have played for the Industrial League here in Birmingham. Those are some of the greats that really defined baseball in America. And it's possible to separate Birmingham from baseball as a national pastime.
I was absolutely blown away when I started reading the names, the players who came through here. One of the things that I didn't really realize or have an appreciation for was how the industrial teams fold into this history. A SIPCO and Stockham Valve that really played a part. That's how it all sort of came about, were these industrial teams.
So after the Civil War, it was discovered that the Birmingham area, specifically Jefferson County, had all 3 elements required to make steel. So Northern industrialists moved here in great numbers, and baseball was the only game in town, literally. There was no football, there was no basketball, there were no other real sports. And so all these gentlemen and women who worked in these steel mills, in these plants, in these mines, played baseball. And from that is where we get the Industrial League, which is unique to Birmingham. And so the baseball was so good and it's played at such a high level that it attracted Willie Mays, it attracted Satchel Paige, it attracted so many of these great players. And these companies were great because they not only put people to work, but they also entertained families and communities. And so when the Industrial League games would be played, the games were legendary. How many people would come to Sloss Field and other sites. And so when Stockham and the SIPCO and US Pipe and all these other different companies would have tournaments, it was a big deal for the community. This is a display that
commemorates what is now America's oldest ballpark, which is right here in Birmingham, Alabama at Rickwood Field. Got some seats, old home plate, uniforms. Rickwood is a sight to behold. We're hoping, and we've been told anyway, that in 2024, Rickwood Field will play host to Major League Baseball's Field of Dreams annual Summer Classic. Frank, tell us about some of the unique features here at the museum, things we want to make sure people don't miss.
Well, I absolutely encourage all of our visitors to try to hit off of Satchel Paige. We have a wonderful hologram here of a gentleman who's not Satchel Paige, but he has Satchel Paige's body type, his height, and we were able to incorporate some of Satchel's most famous pitches and his windup and his delivery. So the way we have it here is there's a home plate, and you select one of his pitches. You can select his wobbly ball or his hesitation pitch or his midnight rider, and the catcher throws the ball, and Satchel will go through his windup and his delivery, and you'll see the trajectory of the ball on the floor. So we love it when kids and adults too come in and try to hit Satchel Paige's pitches, and it's just a wonderful opportunity to go back in time and pretend like you're playing against Satchel Paige.
That's fantastic. That's great. Tell us a little bit about the operation hours of the museum and the different types of events that are held here and what it is used for.
The museum is open Tuesdays through Saturdays from 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock p.m. And we have so many events on our event calendar, including Jackie Robinson Day, which is an annual big festival that we have. Street festival, we block off the street. We have food trucks, we have vendors, we have entertainment. We have former Negro League players and former Industrial League players join us for that day. We have Pitch Talk, which is a meeting where we get together and talk about specific issues related to baseball. We have some greats come in and talk about their experiences. And it's really all about baseball at that point, and also what those men did in their communities during those periods. We have cultural events called Rhythm and Wines as an example, where we actually celebrate local artists, visual artists, spoken word artists, and we have local vendors who are based here in Birmingham. We celebrate community that way. So we have a lot of different events, and we also host events for organizations and entities to come into the museum for their own events. So if there are retirements or if there are graduation ceremonies or parties or anything like that, we'll be happy to work with those individuals to make sure that their event is second to none.
So people could actually lease the facility?
They can rent the museum, the main gallery here that we're standing in now. We've had retirement ceremonies, we've had different events, birthday celebrations, and so we'll be happy to work with entities to make sure their events are great. For more information about the museum, you can always check us out on the web at birminghamnslm.org, or just give us a call at 205-581-3040.
The ache of that generation's inability to see past a person's skin color and instead find the ways we're all alike was best expressed by Pee Wee Reese. Although he was not a part of the Black Negro Southern League, he played with the Brooklyn Dodgers and said this about his good friend and teammate, Jackie Robinson. Pee Wee said, "Maybe tomorrow we'll all wear 42, so nobody can tell us apart." Wouldn't that be nice? Thanks for joining us today on this great little tour of the Negro Southern League Baseball Museum. We do appreciate your time. Before you leave today, please hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so that we can keep you informed of all the goings on in the Birmingham real estate market. Until next time, take care of yourself.